Mhm. Welcome to our deep dive into how pain can be harnessed as a tool for personal growth. We are BliXX. My name is Ariane, and I'm here with my beautiful partner in crime, Beatrice. And yeah, today we're talking deeper into how is it possible that pain can be a fuel for us to learn. So when we look at pain itself, I mean, pain is inevitable. Pain is happening to us in our life, and it cannot be avoided. However, many times we do avoid it. And the idea behind the working with conscious kink for your personal development is to use pain and to infuse it to your body so it becomes a tool for you to really step out of your comfort zone and into the zone where transformation is happening. Because if we keep on doing the same things over and over and over, we won't change anything. So this is why we are using pain as an accelerator for transformation. Let's dive deeper into how this works.
Mm. Yeah, I wanted to share that some people have a lot of judgments around using pain in sexuality. But if we look at what an spiritual practice is, there is a lot of pain involved. Where we are doing yoga, we are stretching our bodies to the limit and then we are breathing into that pain. If we do qigong, I went to a qigong like yesterday and the guy has us like 20 minutes
Mm.
in an with our knees bent and our hands like that for 20 minutes before we started to do any movement, and it was painful. And or if you go to a vipassana and then you have to sit in meditation for 10 days, of course you are going to experience pain. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot of judgments about working with pain in sexuality, but the truth is like evolution requires to be friend with this pain and really observe and really endurance a little bit that pain. And this is as well what make us to increase our stamina, our capacity to really be with pain and with discomfort in real life, because real life is full of painful situation in one way or in another. So here in BDSM we use pain on the body, but this make us as well like more resistant in our mind and allow us to be, yeah, like befriend discomfort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as you said already, there is this like differentiation between the good kind of pain, the one that we intentionally infuse, and the bad kind of pain, which is like an accident where it's like too much pain, too much for the body, too much too fast, and it can really lead into like traumatic responses of your system. But here we're working with this good kind of pain that we intentionally infuse, and we're gonna go into like really um taking it slow and observing the body, so the body is like opening up to it, and through this opening up we can access deeper layers of ourselves that are stored in our body, like emotions, past experiences, trauma. All these things can come to the surface when we're working with the good kind of pain. So we really can touch the deeper layers that are there, and work with the idea of transformational work of like feeling it to healing it. So there is some sort of like unfinished process, we call it. So at some moment something happened to you where you could not really fully um, finish it, resolve it, find forgiveness in yourself, and then it gets stuck somewhere in your body. And through triggering this memory in your body, we can finish what we needed to feel. So eventually, we can heal it and we can transform it and make ourselves free from burdening experiences of the past.
Mm. I would like to talk about a personal experience on my first BDSM session. I already shared about in written, but I never talk about it. So my first BDSM experience I received, it was very unconscious, I have to say. The guy was it was not a very safe person. He didn't have the knowledge to really set up a scene and communicate about what was going to happen. I was very new, and suddenly I was into this experience that he was giving me an spanking session for 45 minutes. And I didn't know how unsafe was that, but I really I try to immerse myself into the experience. I thought I had like some judgments about myself and about the situation. But anyway, let's keep this yeah, like outside of the picture and focus on the experience. So this guy was giving me spanks, and I started to feel like the pain, and the pain started to trigger like emotions around punishment and around control, and I started to access like these memories about how many times I have been punished by usually my mother or my father just because they wanted to keep control over me. And this is what I was experiencing. I was there, I was being controlled, and I'm provided with this pain. So I started to have like an understanding and regression to this. I mean, never my parents hit me physically, but just through this pain, I could access the emotional goons that I was carrying around being punished and being, under the control of someone that I didn't want to be. So it was a really interesting opening process to my inner child healing to see these dynamics. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't say that I healed everything on that session. I didn't have the tools, but something opened me and bring it to my awareness, and definitely give me some insights that I could use to then
Mm.
use in another therapies, and yeah,
Yeah.
and work it everything out. Yeah.
Yeah. I would even go so far that, like, for talking therapy, for example, you're never able to reach that point so quickly as you did in this beautiful example that you gave, because like our mind consciously often, when we're recalling this, is not able to link those memories or to recall those things because we have been locking them away. We don't want to think about the bad things that happened in the past, right? But then when you were there, it's like, okay, wow, this is coming up. I have something to work with and to look deeper into. And this is the beauty of the accelerator when we're going into this kind of settings. And the way how we do it in BliXX, it's always very conscious and intentional, and we really are very aware of every step that we're taking. So we're creating a safe space for the person to really surrender into whatever comes up. And this element of surrender, I mean, it's like the core element of most spiritual practices, to really be able to surrender and to fully let go um of of the ego, like let go of what you think, to really be immersing into a deep state of surrendering. And through this also learning to surrender to life and to become more flexible in every aspect. And if you want to surrender, you have to trust. And there are so many people who have like a really deep issue in really finding a deep level of trust. For me also, before I started engaging in these kind of practices, there was always some sort of like underlying fear of God, oh my God, what could happen, and this and that, and the mind goes everywhere. But through infusing the pain, it's anchoring you in the presence. So you don't have so much time to go with the mind to like do everywhere, and you're like anchored in the present, And then you can really work on your muscle to trust and to surrender and to build that capacity up that is benefiting in all aspects of your life.
Mm, I stopped. I stopped. Can you talk again for a while?
Talk.
All right. Yeah, now it's fine. Just for a
Okay.
second, your sound was off. So, so yeah, I mean, pain equals presence. I don't know, when we are receiving like a soft touch, sometimes we can be present if we are trained, but then if the person who is not providing the touch is knows how to do it, and they can shift into different kind of pleasure, sometimes we get bored, and then we start to think about our to-do list, our shopping list. I mean, how many women they are making love and then they check out, they are not able to be in the moment of the, yeah, on the presence of their body, you know, because sometimes our partner is a little bit boring. So we go into this is pleasure, but yeah, it doesn't have this quality of really being overwhelming, and then we check out. While in pain, if we are suffering pain, boom, it brings us in the moment, you know, and we cannot do anything about it. I mean, if you have a mosquito biting you, your attention is there, and you cannot do absolutely anything about it. So yeah, everything that is related to pain is a stronger force that softness in a way. So for me, it's just more easy to be present in the moment if I start with a little bit of pain. And another thing that I wanted to point out about this surrender, I want to tell another experience,
Go
which is
ahead.
the first time that I did ropes, which is still
Wow.
it's like that every time. And you know, when you do ropes or a strong suspension, like shibari, with someone ropes your body and then they put you up in the air, that's very painful. So usually you start the session by having a harness here that is already restricting your breathing, and you feel very uncomfortable. Your body starts to sweat slightly, and then yeah, you have all these thoughts like, why I'm doing this to myself? I feel so trapped here. This is so uncomfortable. Then the session goes up. Then you don't have mobility also on the legs. Then they put you in the air, and then you know just a
Mm.
few ropes are supporting your whole weight, and it's painful. It's painful. And then yeah, the pain is uncomfortable, and you are like, what I'm doing here, why I'm doing just to myself. You only want to escape, you only want to move your body so you can a little bit liberate some of your flesh. But very soon the body start to understand that the more you release control and you enter this surrender, the more you, through your breathing, you work into relaxation, the better. And
Mm.
in this moment it happened a click. It's like your body just surrender, and then you go to this state of bliss that is called, sometimes it's called bliss, sometimes it's called nirvana, and in BDSM is called subspace. And it's this new level of consciousness that you feel like meditating, floating one with everything, that nothing really exists. You are just like, I don't know, like yeah, it's another
Hi.
state of happiness. It's very difficult to describe with words, something that needs to be experienced. And yeah, and pain is a getaway to these beautiful spiritual experiences.
Absolutely. And when we look at this on a more biological level, what is happening is that when we're experiencing pain and we're surrendering into this pain, there is a lot of hormones that get released. There is like a dose of dopamine, of adrenaline, of cortisol, of like endorphin. There is so many hormones that get rushed into your system because your system is like coping with that, and you're breathing, you're surrendering into this, you're infusing a little bit of pleasure. They have a wonderful connection, pain and pleasure. So and then it gets like, oh, I hang there totally dismobilized, breathing my way through, like surviving in the ropes, and then, oh, there's a feather. This feels really nice. And all of a sudden, the capacity, you forget that it was uncomfortable. You increase your capacity for holding it, and you're increasing the capacity to pain, and you're like, oh wow, I can even hang here for another 15 minutes, or like, let me hang here forever. I was like, I had this moment when I was in the ropes. I was like, oh yes, just leave me here, before it's like, oh my god, let me down, let me down. It's like, oh, I surrender, I click in, my hormones rush in, and it's like, okay, just let me hang here, I can stay here forever. This is totally bliss, as you said. So like what we're doing is like we're getting high on our own supply, on our own hormones, through these practices. So yeah, I wanted to add
This is
to
well
that.
not about only getting high, which can be very pleasurable,
Yeah,
but high is a new level of consciousness where
exactly.
can help you as well to look at yourself, at your problems, at your emotions from a different perspective. It's a little bit like doing an ayahuasca session, or to work with mushrooms, or to
Mm,
work with any plant medicine. That it changes a little bit how your brain functions, and from there sometimes you find solution to your problems, you find understanding, and you find especially like embody experiences, because
yeah.
yeah, these experiences come from the body, so they are very real as well. Yeah.
What I want to add to that is like, it's so important that you do this with somebody who knows how to do it and who is very present with you, and that there is like a continuous rapport between the two of you, because many times it can happen that it hits so hard and that you're going into a disassociation. So instead of going through the pain, you disassociate from your body, and they can, instead of being it in a deeply embodied experience that can be like really a wonderful tool for healing, it becomes a disconnect, and you don't have this integration part. You're just checking out, and you're like, oh wow, I'm in bliss, I'm checking out. But this is bliss is a deeply embodied experience. So you need to be really able to be like, okay, how does it feel in my body? And as long as you know, like, where is my body, you know that you're going through the portal of transformation. If it's just like, oh, I'm like, ooh, there, and I don't feel like I have a body at all, then the likelihood that you disassociate, that you're disassociated and disconnected from your physical experience, is there. So it's very important to learn how to do this and how to work with this in a safe container where people are going to give you the tools to also bring you back. I mean, there's nothing wrong in disassociating. This has happened to me, this has happened to Bear. We both had these experiences, but
And it's
then it's
nice,
important.
it's nice.
It also can be nice, but then it's important to know how to bring yourself back online, how to anchor yourself back in the present, and to move through whatever comes up afterwards. Usually there is something that is stirring up when these kind of things happen. So it's very important to have the tools that support you to use pain as a portal for transformation. And this is exactly what we're teaching in our BliXX Level 1 retreat. All these tools, how to work with that. Yes, you want to say something here?
I want to do something about, yeah, how trauma works and how to work with trauma, that also we explain a lot in on Instagram, but just to put it here. So we have like our comfort zone, whatever our usual practices that are our loops that give us always the same results, where we are comfortable and everything is nice, and the way that we may love, just it feels nice. But this is our comfort zone. I mean, it's really nice, it can be really nice, but nothing like super interesting is going to happen there, because we already know everything. And then there is the expansion zone, and this is where we want to be. So we want to be like administrating this pain as well, mixed with pleasure, so we can get outside of comfort zone a little bit, and then through breathing and through this pain and pleasure play, we can slowly increase our capacity. And this is where we want to be as long as possible, in this outside, a little bit of outside of this a comfort zone. We are going to be still in our bodies and observing, observing what is happening in our bodies, and as well what kind of downloads, emotions, our emotional landscape these sensations are bringing, from the body into our mind and into our awareness. But then if we kick very strong, then we go into what is called the trauma zone. And in this moment is when happened what Ariane has already explained. Is too much for the body. So the body kind of freezes out and disassociate, and we have like these wonderful survival mechanisms that kick in, and then we are not anymore in our bodies, we are somewhere else. And it can be nice, but it's not really helpful. And also in some of the cases it can be even re-traumatizing. So yeah, we are not going there.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting that. And I want to highlight, like, okay, what are the tools, or how can I administer pain in properly, and to be in this magic zone, in the zone outside of your comfort zone where the magic is happening. And the first thing is to go really slow. Like, don't rush yourself into it. Also, many times when you have like this very strong goal of like, yeah, I wanna go there and this is what I want, you set yourself already up for failure. Like, surrender. Surrender to the experience, be present, don't force yourself to anything. Maybe this happens in the first trial of play. Maybe you need a few attempts to reach deeper levels. Like, take it slow and be patient. Like, don't force, don't rush to any outcome. This is usually not how it works with our systems. And then the other thing is, besides going slow, to always come back to your breathing. Already Bear said in her experiences that she shared from her personal stories, she breathed herself through the experience. So really learning how to breathe so you can regulate your nervous system, and you can help your body to hold the pain, and help your body to feel relaxed and be anchored in safety as you're going through this experience. So go slow, breathe. And the third thing is, or we also mentioned this before, infusing some pleasure. If you're there and you only be tortured for the sake of like having an experience, you might go home and be like, what the fuck? I didn't get anything, but I don't know what is the point of this. So infuse pleasure to it. Like, not only focusing on the pain, but also focusing on the pleasure. This is where it gets really, really interesting, when we also add our desires to it. And then all of a sudden you realize that, like, being roped and put in a very discomfortable position, and at the same time, fingered, for example, as a woman. Oh wow, this is my new thing. I really love this combination. So infusing really pleasure to that. And then the last thing is to set up safety. Like,
And a second,
being this
and as well
rapport. Yeah. Yeah.
allow a space as well in
Yeah.
between. So you are like giving pain and giving pleasure, and there are some moments where you are not doing anything. You just allow the person to breathe and integrate all the sensations, so it doesn't feel too overwhelming for the nervous system, and then it checks you
Mm.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the rhythm is very, very important. To really pause and not all the time do, because then it's also too much, too fast. Thank you for adding that element. Yeah, and the last thing is this rapport that we already talked about, like the check in with each other. How can you signal that you're okay? How can you signal when things are not okay anymore, when you're disassociating? How can you communicate with each other? Usually we're navigating with safety words in BDSM, but there might be some moments or some practices that you engage where you're not able to talk. So it's like, okay, if I cannot talk because I have a gag ball in my mouth, how can I still signal when I need a break, when I want this to stop, when I'm like, how can I communicate? What are the ways to communicate there? And if you want to learn this and go deeper into finishing unfinished business, then come and join us in BliXX.
Yeah, we have retreats for couples who come together and stay together, and we explore the pain and pleasure, and also we role play like different role plays. So we, on the top of that, we add a layer of energy that we want to embody, different energies. So we will be exploring like different ways of working with pain through different archetypes and different tools. um, yeah, and aside with all like tantric and ritual, it's not everything about pain in our retreats. And also you don't have
Awesome.
to come and experience pain, and it's not everything about pain in BDSM. We don't want to put this as this is necessary. It's a great tool, but you can explore domination and submission as well, like totally painless. In fact, we spend a lot of time exploring this without even touching a body, exploring this energetically, exploring this verbally, exploring these dynamics on the mind without even touching a body. You can really, yeah, get a lot of kinkiness and a lot of polarity and a lot of hotness and a lot of energy, yeah, energy, polarity, sexy, that doesn't involve pain. But yeah, if you are into pain or you want to explore, this is as well like a right container. So we have the retreats for couples who are coming together and working together. And then we have retreats for individuals and open couples as well, people who come with their partners, but as well they are interested on exploring all these things with different partners within the boundaries. Uh, so yeah, come, send us an email, find our details here below, and we will be happy to send you all the information.
And if you have any other comments or feedback, please leave it here in our YouTube channel or reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening and for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day.